Aromie here, and welcome back to our life. Oh, there's there's skip buttons on for some reason. I don't know if it's because it's the same button as my recording. But anyway, we only have 2 steps left in step 3. So very sad. But until then, we'll be back. And hopefully that by then I'll have blonde hair. Anywho, we're gonna go to Charity. Cove pushed himself to his feet from where he had been bent down in the sand, stretching out his back and groaning softly. A tired breath slipped past his lips as he wiped his brow, looking out over the shore. It looks great. He stood beside him, joining in the surveying of the sand that almost seemed to sparkle beneath the midday sun. The two of you have been out on the beach since sunrise, cleaning up and down the beach, looking for various debris, and the work had paid off. Using a hand to shield your eyes from blinding rays, you glanced across the way where the other volunteers from Orca were gathered. They were easily recognizable by the high-vis vest they wore. It looked as though everyone was about ready to wrap things up for the day. I'm happy to see you in a better state. I'm exhausted. I'm just glad it's over. You did great, Cove. I'm happy to see you in a better state. It was pretty sad looking when we got here. The beaches of this town were practically your own personal backyard, and you visited them a lot. It felt good knowing that you were helping to take care of them. Too bad not everybody sees a joy in putting trash where it belongs. Oh well. Cove placed his hands on his hips, a pleased grin pulling at the corners of his mouth as he admired the work you'd both done. You have begun to realize during your time volunteering for the organization how seriously Cove took his service. It was easy to see that it was something important to him. I mean, he loves the ocean, so you felt equally as invested and always gave it your best efforts. You enjoyed the work, but mostly wanted to have a good time. Miranda was right, you volunteered because it was a good reference. You didn't want to be there, but you didn't know how to turn it down. There's no option, just be here for Cove. Because if I'm being honest, that's what I'm here for. You felt equally as invested and always gave it your best effort. It was important that the ocean you grew up with was protected. I was gonna say protested. It had always been a big part of your life, and you felt that the least you could do was give back to it in some way. Aw, hey, nice work, Michiko. Thanks. It's been a good year so far. It's crazy to think that it's already time to push the big event. You let out a big breath, thinking of the formal dinner that Orca organized every year. Being a completely fundraising-focused event for large donors, it was crucial for the organization's projects in the year to come. You had to be over 18 to attend, so this was your first opportunity to actually see it in person. Yo, this is like the soiree, right? This important, like, well, the soiree was not an important thing, but important to me because it was supposed to be my first date. But all you had heard about it so far was that it was a prim and proper occasion with speeches and everything. You didn't know what else to expect from it, as you weren't a part of the group who planned the evening. Before the big night came around, the volunteers would have to sell the tickets for it, and that's where you'd be helping. Oh, we're not even going to be dressed up. We're just selling tickets. I'm so excited to go. I'm nervous about the event. I don't really want to go. I'm curious about the night. You shrugged. I'm curious. It might be fun. I've never been to a professional type party. Cove nodded, though he still seemed reluctant. I just don't feel excited about attending a super formal meal. I was gonna say metal. I was like, what? Like proper etiquette and stuff, you know? He threw his arms out to the side, making a bit of a show at how ridiculous it seemed to him. I've got sand all over my room and only one nice shirt, and I go barefoot pretty much whenever I can. I'm gonna be so out of place. Right, I bet you'd rather stay out here. I don't want to have to worry about manners. You can make it work for one night. Doing something that fancy will make it fun. Yep, you'll definitely seem out of place there. You didn't say anything. Honestly, I'm not huge into parties. Because I'm an introvert. But I guess having one fancy time would be fun in a way, you know, memories. Doing something that fancy will make it fun. But he might not see it as that. But I think it will be. How often do we get the chance to dress up nice or eat an expensive meal? Cove chuckled and shook his head at you in amusement. A small beeping noise came from Cove's pants pocket, and he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. It's the organizers. They've sent a text to the group. Time to call it a day here. Alright, ready to head to our next activity? Cove tucked his cell away eagerly, turning to you. Let's head over and drop the trash bags off at the trucks. Then we can drive back and join the ticket team. We've got to be there pretty soon to relieve them. Excuse me. With a stretch of shore this long, the plan was to switch places with the other team who had been pushing the tickets for this fundraising dinner halfway through. It would be a full day of work, but it was Orca's largest event of the year, and all hands were on deck to make sure it was a success. You raise your hand for a high five, you nudge your shoulder against Cove's, you start pushing Cove on the back to move forward, you ran off, you started to walk. I think I would playfully push him forward. Time to go! He resisted, leaning his weight against your hands and digging his feet in the sand. With a burst of laughter, you pulled away quickly, and he almost fell backwards into the sand. He joined in with the laughter while stumbling to catch himself. Oh, we're so cute. You collected the trash bags spread along the way together, heading across the beach to hoist them into the trucks before heading off to the next stop. The drive back to your neighborhood and making your way to the shopping street was fairly quick, though Cove stressed a little about being late. Luckily, he was able to find a parking spot nice and close to where you needed to be. You jumped out of the car and quickly went towards where you knew the group would be. Finally, reaching the stall was set up to sell tickets. You stopped for a moment to catch your breath. Oh wait, we're selling tickets before. Okay, I was like, we're selling tickets on the day of? That was quite the flurry of activity. It would be your job for the rest of the afternoon to help sell tickets for the fundraising dinner. And looking around the street, you saw that there were plenty of potential buyers out today that would hopefully help to move the tickets along. The stall itself was simple, a portable table with a few plush sea animals as decorations and banners stuck across the front. There were two volunteers who were already packing up and getting ready to head off to the beach. They gave both of you a friendly smile as you arrived. Hey Cove, Michiko, how'd things go at the beach?
Not bad.
It was good, the place is looking great. We're lucky to get 2 for 1 when it comes to you guys. Cove cleared his throat awkwardly from beside you. You notice his cheeks flushing pink. Here we go again. You laughed it off. That's right, that's us. You felt your own cheeks get hotter. Their teasing rubbed you the wrong way. You shrugged it off. You felt your own cheeks get hotter. You could tell that they weren't trying to embarrass you on purpose, but you wished they hadn't said anything at all. The volunteers made room for you and Cove behind a table while they circled around to the front of it. I don't know if that was a good option or not, actually. We're just gonna carry on, though. Thanks for coming in for a shift. We'd better make this quick so we can head off to the next place. No problem, what do you need us to do? We're ready for whatever is needed. One of the volunteers handed you a clipboard with all the details needed to sell tickets, while the other tossed a set of keys to Cove, which he caught with ease. Those are for the money box and supply kit. Make sure to keep them on you at all times. Aside from handling the cash for the tickets, there's also a form on the clipboard for the guests to fill in their info. That way we know how many tickets we've sold and who will be attending the event. There's a small script beneath that if you get stuck for what to say, and that's about it. Pretty simple, huh?
Uh-huh.
I think we've got this. Satisfied that you knew what you were doing, the volunteers said their goodbyes and started walking away, leaving you and Cove to manage the stall alone. The keys jingled in his hand as Cove waved them, before he stuffed them into the pocket of his pants for safekeeping. We'll bring in a lot of money. Have fun at the beach. Once the volunteers were out of sight, Cove dropped into a chair behind the counter with a sigh. We made it here just in time. It's cool we traded places with nothing happening. They might have been late getting to cleanup duty. He leaned back in his seat, getting fully comfortable in the space, and gave you a small smile. You took the other seat? You stayed standing? I'm not standing, the heck? We've been on the beach like for how long? Like all morning? You took the other seat. It was a simple plastic chair that squeaked when you sat on it, but it gave you a good view of the street. We got things under control. I was so stressed about getting here, things could still go wrong. Glad this work lets us at least rest in one place. You rubbed at your eyes tiredly, you returned a smile. It had been a bit of a mad rush to get here, but everything had turned out alright in the end. Cove rummaged around the station a little, picking up a stuffed toy orca and holding it up in front of his face. You had to admit that it was pretty cute, with its big, bulging eyes and oversized flippers. Setting it back down at the table, Cove moved on to check out the rest of the stall, finding a cooler stashed beneath the table. When he pulled it out and opened the lid, you could see that it was filled with half-melted ice cubes and about a half a dozen bottles of water. Grabbing one of the plastic bottles, he unscrewed the cap and took a long drink. You watched the condensation running along the side and onto his fingers.
So?
Do you want one? No, I'm just watching like a water advertisement right now. And you're the ad. Cove set his water on his side of the table before pulling out another, holding it out towards you. You accept the water bottle. I brought my own. Thanks. No, I'm not thirsty. You accept the water bottle. Thanks. After opening it up, you took a drink and let out a satisfied sigh. You hadn't realized how thirsty you had been, and it was always good to stay hydrated. Hear that, guys? Always stay hydrated. The two of you got settled in easily. You took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over your shoulder to get a better look. Seems like pretty standard stuff. He muttered and you nodded quietly. It had a general info about the event and the work you need to do at the stall, as well as the amount of tickets sold thus far, and the number remaining. Cove tapped a finger on the counter as he read quietly over the notes, muttering a few things now and then that you didn't fully hear. He seemed content to be there, and you were sure that the afternoon would pass by quickly. When he glanced out towards the crowd and made a small sound, you followed his line of sight to see that a potential supporter was on their way over to the booth. You psyched yourself up, you were feeling anxious, it was time to do customer service, you tried to relax for a bit, this is going to be pain, you quietly continued checking over the papers. You were feeling anxious. It wasn't always easy for you to do things like this, especially when those things required talking to strangers, but you had to remind yourself that you were doing it for a reason. Taking in a deep breath, you made eye contact with the customer and gave them a small smile. This is literally mean retail. Time passes, the two of you man the stall, and as people approach, your sales pitch would either have them asking for a ticket or two or heading off and mumbling maybe next time. All in all, you managed to sell a decent amount of tickets, and you could tell that Cove was happy with the outcome. As the afternoon drifted along, 6 p.m. arrived, time to pack everything up and head home for the evening. Your work with Orca was far from over, but right now there was only one thing left to focus on, attending the actual event. The days continued on in a normal flow, and before long, the night of the Orca fundraising dinner was upon you. It was early evening, and you were in your room getting ready as the minutes ticked closer and closer towards the time you needed to leave. You wanted some privacy, so you had locked yourself away in your own room. Liz was helping you pick out an outfit. Cove was on speakerphone. Liz was helping you get ready while Cove was on speakerphone. Oh, it would be cute to have my sister and Cove together. That's so cute that we get this option. You're currently in the midst of picking out an outfit while Liz was helping you with, while Cove gave his input from the phone. Of course, Cove couldn't see any of the items you and Liz were choosing between, but he was trying to help all the same. The event had strict guidelines, and you wouldn't be let in unless you were dressed to code. That meant having to find a truly professional outfit, but one that you were also happy with. You were happy to have the chance to dress fancy. You wanted to be practical about it. I'm happy to dress fancy. There were a couple of outfits that didn't get nearly as much use as you would have liked, and now is the time to show them off. You smiled as you picked your way through the items, your excitement shining bright.
That's fine.
You don't need to get too in your head thinking about the look, but you do need to hurry up and pick something. At this rate, you're going to have a better time picking out your outfit than at the party itself, but whatever you go with, it'll be great. Oh, aren't you helpful, Liz? Don't push me, Liz. Thanks for talking it through with me, Cove. I never thought I'd see the day when Cove Holden would encourage you to wear something formal. You laughed a little, shook your head. I think I would do this one. I never thought I'd see the day when Cove Holden would encourage me to wear something formal. A quiet chuckle came from your phone and you smiled at the sound. Yeah, this is a really once-in-a-lifetime event. Take a deep breath to refocus yourself. You look over the options one last time. It was time to decide on an outfit and quick. You chose dress, chose a button-down shirt and pants, you chose a blouse and pants, you chose a button-down shirt and a skirt. You chose a blouse and skirt. I think I would choose a dress, just one piece. Liz nodded in approval, clapping your hands together, satisfied. Finally, we're making some progress. That sounds like it'd be totally fine. I'm just wearing a shirt. I'm wearing just a shirt with buttons and slacks, personally. Standing in front of your mirror, you quietly assessed your outfit. You thought adding accessory too? You liked your outfit as it was? Let's add an accessory or two. It needed a little something extra to finish it all off. Rummaging through the rest of your wardrobe, you picked out what you needed to complete your outfit. Ooh, an anklet, for sure, an anklet. You had quickly remove your shoes to slip on the anklet before stepping back into them again. I'm always, literally, if you ever see me in person, just know the only accessory that I will have on me at all times is an anklet. And I want to get a new one, so eventually I'll get a new one. I only have one anklet so far that I've worn for like 7 years almost. So, and a pair of earrings. You hurried to put on a pair of earrings to match your outfit, aware that time was running short. Alright, and then a ring. You couldn't leave the house without slipping on that. Holding your hand up to the light, you quietly admired the way it glinted. Should we put on a bracelet too, or is that too much? Let's just, a necklace. Turning back to the mirror, you let Liz drape your best necklace around your neck and clasp it together at the back. Alright, and then a bracelet. You slipped the bracelet around your wrist and you made sure it was sitting there properly. I think that is all. That was everything. And with that, You decide to apply makeup? You ask Liz if she could put on makeup for you, ready to go. Let's apply on makeup. Leaning up in front of the mirror again, you grab your makeup bag and apply what you needed. Alright, foundation. Using a small sponge, you apply the base over your skin to help it make it smooth and glowing. I haven't worn makeup in forever because my face is so fucked up right now. But I feel like I should wear makeup because I'm insecure. But then that'll just fuck up my skin somewhere, right? Blush. You swept your blush across the apples of your cheeks. Mascara. With your lashes fanned out like that, your eyes really stood out. Eyeliner. You carefully applied the liner to give your eyes more definition and presence. Body glitter, holy fuck. Drawn over brows. Use some makeup to change the look and shape of your brows. It turned out well. Eyeshadow. You chose a color to complement the rest of your look and swept it over your eyelids, taking care to blend it well. Lipstick. You applied your lipstick carefully, smoothing your lips together to make sure the color is even. We have time for nail polish? Liz had always been the best at applying nail polish. She knew she could help you get it done quickly. What kind of nail polish is that? Like Instaquick or something? And I think that's it. I don't wear bronzer that much. I don't wear. We have lipstick already on. I don't feel like putting lip gloss on top. I don't know how to wear false lashes and body glitter. I don't have that. That was everything. Oh. You're really going all in, aren't you? Of course, for you, Cope. Finally, you were dressed. It had all come together. Okay, just gotta change my shirt and then I'll be at the car. See you in a minute. When you looked at Liz again, she had a goofy smile pulling at her lips. You look very nice, Michiko. Thank you. You twisted around your outfit excitedly. I do look good, don't I? Now you're talking like our moms. You blushed and smiled at the compliment. I think I would twist around in my outfit excitedly. Knowing you had made the right decision with everything had her feeling more confident. Liz wiped a pretend tear away with her fingers, sniffling dramatically. Oh, precious Michiko, you're really all grown up. It happened in the blink of an eye when I wasn't even looking. She chuckled to herself, nudging you towards the door. Time to get downstairs. Your special boy awaits. My special boy. You carefully headed down the stairs and into the living room where your moms were waiting for your parents. Oh, our mom's so wrinkly-eyed. Makes me so sad. As you entered, they both stood from the couch and came over to you, smiling broadly. You look so wonderful, Michiko. Nice. And very mature, too. I know, right? They continued to coo and fuss over you until you managed to brush them off. Ma took Mom by the arm and held her close, the two of them admiring you proudly. You enjoy the attention, thank you, sighed dramatically. I got this from Liz. You wonder why they were making such a big deal. Just say thank you. It felt a little strange to have everyone's attention on you, but you liked it nonetheless. Liz smiled at you from where she stood, her expression soft. Mom came in to give you one last hug, and before you knew it, another pair of arms were wrapped around you, and then a third. Both Mom and Liz giggled as they hugged you tight. We hope you have so much fun tonight. Have fun. We won't wait up for you. Stay out as long as you need. You're old enough now. Wow, can you imagine that? Such a change. With the last goodbye, you left your family and approached the front door. It was time. Stepping out into the night, you closed the door behind you gently and looked out across the street. Oh, he's so cute. Cove, you look so good. Cove was standing there in the street. His eyes met yours immediately, as if he had been watching your house for the moment you would come out. He smiled bashfully. Hey, Michiko. Hey, stranger, I barely recognized you. You took the chance to check over his outfit as he walked across the way to meet you. It was formal for sure, though didn't feel overly posh. It made sense for him, and it was honestly a sight for sore eyes. He was always beautiful to you. He looked you over as well, a subtle blush creeping over his face as he quickly cleared his throat and averted his gaze. He seemed to be struggling to find something to say, rubbing at the exposed part of his arm awkwardly. Thank you for coming with me and for dressing really nicely for this. Your outfit, it's good. Better than good, really. Great, I guess. Something else? So, yeah. So cute. His gaze traveled downwards to take in your full form, and he suddenly froze, his eyes widening on what you were sure was a tasteful anklet peeking out from above your shoes. It's kryptonite. Just wear an anklet and Cove will be yours. Cove turned his very red face away from you, and you peered at him adoringly as he mumbled to himself. Oh my god. As you imagine, a choice of accessory had him fully flustered. It's like his kryptonite. It's so silly. You knew how he felt about them, and he knew that you He knew that you knew how he felt about them. The purposefulness of teasing him this way likely had an even bigger impact than even seeing you in the anklet. Listen here, Cove. I've actually been wearing anklets before this game, alright? You started to wonder if it was a good idea after all. Cove acting like that was killing you, and you hadn't even started the trip to the dinner yet. It took a great amount of effort to focus your thoughts and react to his overall assessment to your look. You felt shy over it. Your look is very nice too. You're so hot right now. Yo, we're doing that option. I don't give a shit. You're so hot right now. Revealing his bright red face in embarrassment after that, he wrapped his arm around his torso bashfully, as if trying to protect himself in the outfit from further teasing. Come on, Michiko. Sorry, I'm just trying to lighten the mood by teasing you. He laughed at the reaction. Then he shook his head, glanced back towards the garage, and throwing a thumb over his shoulder, spoke. We should probably get going. Wouldn't want to be late to such a grown-up event, right? Yeah, let's go. You headed over to Code's car together, hopping in and strapping on your seatbelts. You were on your way. The event was being held at a place that you had never been to before. You brought up the location on your phone to help Cove navigate there. It took some time to find the right address, and once there, you were met with the task of finding a parking spot. Though you were on time, it seemed like everyone else had already showed up and claimed the spaces. Eventually, you found a suitable place before realizing that it required payment. Cove covered the amount, taking a ticket from the machine and leaving it on the dashboard of the car. Ooh, fancy! Holy fuck! It feels cold in here, actually. Despite the small holdup, you managed to ultimately make it to the event and confirm you were on the guest list before being shown into the dining area. Cove whistled low as he looked around, taking the extravagance of the room. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and the entire place was decked out with beautiful oceanic displays. You were stunned yourself. It was extremely high class, even more so than you had already expected. It's so nice. This is the best looking event I've ever been to. It's way too frilly for me. It's so overdone. Could be worse. You didn't comment. This is the best looking event I've ever been to. And I've only been to like 2 in this game, right? Because this is the second one. Their lips parted in a wondrous smile as you took in the decorations, the guests all dressed to the nines. Cole met your eyes with a similar look on his face. You got the impression that he felt the same way about it all. The sound of your names being called out echoed over in the din in the room. When you looked around, you recognized a couple of the organization leaders looking your way. They approached you both in greeting, giving you a welcoming smile and a hello. Cove, Michiko, we're glad to see you can make it, especially after all the hard work you've done to help make this night happen.
Of course.
Definitely, I wasn't gonna miss it. You say that as if we had a choice, you joked. I wouldn't miss it either. Hello, I'm thrilled to have meet it. You gave a soft nod. Hi. I think I would be too shy to say anything. And that was enough for them. Well, thank you for being a part of the team. You're always welcome to help us out with activities whenever they come up. Thank you. There we go, I did say something. Cove shrugged and then eyes darting around the place with an awkward look.
So...
I guess we should talk to more people. There isn't much else to do at an event like this. You found your way into groups of people who were standing around chatting while some light music played in the background. Servers with large silver trays were gliding between the guests, offering drinks and cannabis. Oh, I think. Cole approached various people as you wound your way through the guests. He managed broaching new conversations well. You're enjoying talking to so many different people, both guests and members of the organization alike, and found yourself enjoying the company. The sound of a microphone crackling came from the podium at the other end of the room. Someone who you assumed must be the host for the evening was asking everyone to sit down in preparation for the meal and speeches. You and Cove looked for your table, finding easily enough by the little name cards that were placed delicately beside the napkins. A few others just joined you at the table, although they weren't anyone that you recognized. This is like a wedding, or it feels like a wedding, but it's not. The host was still speaking as people were settling, starting off the speeches by giving a welcome to everyone attending. She went on to provide some more information about Orca, which she supposed was for the guests who weren't part of the organization, and the purpose of the fundraiser tonight. Orca's goal, as she explained it, were to aid in the conservation and restoration of oceans and beaches. There are many people who had helped to make the group as successful as it was. When she read off a list of several volunteers who worked on making the event happen, Cove's name was one of the first to come up. His chest puffed out in pride at that. Your name then came up a little further down the list. You were smiling from ear to ear at the mention. As she continued to thank the large donors for the event, you checked over at Cove. He was still grinning happily to himself and tapping his fingers up over the tops of his knees, pretty pleased to have been mentioned by me. He's so cute. You laughed quietly. As a reaction, you rolled your eyes. You're excited for him. You could relate to that feeling. You try to keep focused on speech. No, you're excited for him. He had worked so hard to make this event happen. It was the least that he deserved. While the host continued speaking, multiple servers dressed in black were setting the first course of the menu in front of the guests. When the servers set down a plate in front of you, you thanked them quietly before looking over the dish with interest. You recognized the dish as a simple Caesar salad. The host quickly wrapped up the end of her speech, thanking everyone once more before inviting you all to begin your meal. Anyone who had included a special dietary note when signing up for the event received a vegan or vegetarian version, and there were also small baskets of bread set around the table. You ate both the salad and the bread, or you just ate the salad, just ate some of the bread, you didn't eat any of it? Your girl is a glutton. A glutton. So I'm eating both the salad and the bread in my dress, in my fancy attire, because screw these rules and etiquettes to be proper eating. Eat a little just because I'm a lady. I'm just supposed to eat just a little. Fuck you, I'm eating. This is all free food. I'm not. My hair. Cove pulled down his salad before munching into his breadstick, quickly devouring that as well. I hope the next part comes out soon and is bigger. You could hear him mumbling to himself as you reached over for another piece of bread. He glanced around the table and you followed his line of sight with curiosity, knowing that everyone else was still eating the salad. Stopping his hand mid-air, he quickly pulled back and rested on his lap without taking another breadstick after all. It was clear that he was starting to feel unsure of himself, and he looked a little out of place here. He folded his arms and turned away from them to you. Hey, did you like the salad? It was really good. It was too small. It was alright. It was pretty bad. He simply shrugged. It was too small. I'm still pretty hungry. Yeah, me too. His gaze remained purposely tunneled on you, as if he was trying not to even think about what the rest of the table might be doing. You gave Cove a pat on the hand. You made silly faces at the other guests while they weren't looking. You picked up a breadstick and gave it to Cove. You discreetly flipped the other guests off. You sat there quietly feeling uncomfortable yourself. I feel like they're not gonna eat it, right? This one I might have to save on because I don't know. He's hungry. It's okay. Oh, thank you. Code spoke gently as he took the bread from your hand, looking choked up by your reassurance. He munched away on it happily, seeming much more at ease. Gotta make sure my baby boy is comfortable, alright? It wasn't much longer until the main course was arriving. The various chicken, steak, and veggie dishes were being served throughout the room. An array of scents wafted through the room, making your mouth water. You had chosen steak. I am not going to look at the other options. It was nice that you had been given the option of how you liked your steak cooked, and the meal on the plate in front of you seemed perfectly to your taste. Cove had gone for the steak, and once he started to dig in, he was completely absorbed by his meal. You're gonna choke if you keep handling your food like that. You kicked him under the table teasingly. You flicked something at him while he was off guard. You focused on your own food. I think I should focus on my own food. It was going to be a full evening, so you wanted to try to eat something while you could. Dinner eventually ended, and last of all was dessert, a lemon sorbet that had been partially dyed blue. The mix of white with bold streaks of blue made this little scoop look like a ball of roaring ocean waves. The effect was very pretty, but the serving size was small. Cove is sad. Perhaps it was the price to pay for artistry. You turned to Cove to find him pouting a little at the size of it. Digging into the dessert, it took him only a few bites to polish it off. Again, the other people around the table had barely even begun eating. An unimpressed air settled over him as he sat back in his chair, sipping at his water unhappily. You should appreciate what you got. You laughed at his moping. You're such a big baby. You can get more dessert later. You cleared your throat. We can get more dessert later. You gave him an encouraging smile. He looked up at you sheepishly, embarrassed to have been caught sulking over such a thing. He pummeled for a defense. It was just really good, that's all, and now it's gone, but I'm okay. With a slight grin, he shrugged to show that he was really fine. Would you like a bite of mine? Do you want my dessert? Alright, Cove. Would you like a bite of mine? You scooped up a spoonful of your sorbet and offered it to him, holding a hand beneath it to avoid any drips. His eyes went as he eyed the dessert hungrily, surprised by the offer. I mean, I'm always asking him for his stuff, you know? So this time I'll just give it to him. Like, here, I'm offering it to you. Recovering quickly, he leaned forward over the table, lifting out of the chair a little as he ate the treat from your spoon. Oh, he was so excited for it. As he sat back, humming happily with his mouth full, you couldn't help but smile at the sight. Cove swallowed the full ocean and let out a satisfied sigh. Even though it wasn't that much more, the simple fact that he had gotten more hit the spot.
Thanks.
Aw, thanks, Michiko. You're welcome. You were pleased to see he was perkier, and you went back to eating the rest of your dessert. He's such a baby. But it's fine. We're both babies. Another person from the Orcas got up on the stage to make a speech as everyone was nearing the end of their meal. They spoke mostly about the individual projects that the organization was working on and their plans for the near future, as well as encouraging anyone who was interested to consider volunteering. Cove bent forward over the table with his chin balanced on a hand, listening attentively to the words. As it came to a conclusion, everyone gave them a round of applause. Cove caught your eye and smiled. You wondered what would happen now. And then the lights dimmed. A couple of spotlights came on, projecting a waterline effect around the room. Oh, look how pretty! The guests gushed over the ambiance, and you looked around with wide eyes at the ripples on the walls. The DJ that had previously been playing soft mood music in the background announced that the floor was open for dancing, slowly turning the volume up so it shifted through the space. When he glanced at Cove, his eyebrows had shot up and he mumbled quietly. I didn't know there would be dancing. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. Oh, even like the reflection on him, on the art. Cute. He gave an awkward laugh as you both watched as people rose from their seats. It was clear now that many of the donors were couples. A small crowd had started to form in the dance floor, and DJ played a romantic song to get everyone started off. Cole let his gaze float over the small stage cast, and he seemed lost in thought. A serious expression had settled on his face, making his eyebrows dip. Slowly he turned to you, though there was something cautious in his approach. Would you want to dance with me? I'd love to. I was just going to ask you the same thing. I don't really want to dance. I'd love to. Ah, his face lit up. You could tell even beneath the dim light. He nodded firmly as he rose from his seat, though you noticed his hands shaking at his sides. You walked out onto the floor together, hesitating a little when you turned and stood face to face. Oh, Cove, you're blushing so cute. Cove had a hard time meeting your eyes, but he lifted a hand for you to take, unsure of what else he was meant to do. Taking his hand, you took the lead and whispered to him, "We'll be fine." It took some doing, but amidst your nervous laughter, you managed to find a comfortable enough position and set a rhythm to the music. It was quite nice after that. Every time your eyes met Cove's, he would look away quickly, but he seemed to be enjoying the dance nonetheless. Eventually, he felt comfortable enough to speak. A lot has happened, huh? You nodded faintly. You weren't sure if he meant just today, this summer, or your entire time knowing each other. But it didn't really matter. It was true either way. Thinking back on the years that you and Cove had been neighbors, it was difficult to even try to reflect on it all at once.
I'm so glad.
I'm glad we ended up here. He gave you a soft look and you beamed, knowing that could also mean many things. But from his tone, you were certain he didn't only mean here at this event. It was more than that. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, so am I. I think we have to tell your dad thanks. You couldn't even speak. You chuckled happily at the two of you and the long adventure you'd been on. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. You loved him fully and completely, you did. The party eventually started to wind down, and at last it came to an end. When the main lights turned on, you blinked against the brightness of them, making sure you still have Cove in your sights. One final speaker came up on the podium I don't like this song here. This, holy fuck, it's snowing. This tune they're using, it gives me so much anxiety. One final speaker came up to the podium on the stage, thanking all the guests for coming and wishing everyone a good night. It was bittersweet to see it come to a close. Your time with Cove here was precious. At least the memories could be brought with you. Giving the space one more look, you walked together with Cove out to the parking lot. The other guests were doing the same, so you got stuck in a bit of a crowd. Though Cove was so tall you could always see him, and it was easy enough not to get separated. The parking lot itself was quite big, and even more noticeably now, with fewer cars blocking the view. It took a little while to actually locate Cove's car across its expanse. Eventually you found it, and the two of you bundled inside the vehicle and buckled up. The trip home was quiet as you both silently reflected back on the experience. The event had been the biggest night of the year for Orca, and now it was all over, just like that. Outside your window, the surroundings soon became familiar, and you found yourself back in your neighborhood. Cove pulled the car into his driveway and put it in park before letting out a relieved breath. Home sweet home. Yeah. After climbing out of the car, you walked slowly down to the road, Cove coming over to stand beside you. You stopped in the middle of the street right between your house and his and turned to him, finding him in the process of opening his mouth to speak. Strangely, he clamped his lips together as though he had suddenly thought better of it. You also stayed silent. That was quite a night. Good night, Cove. Thank you for taking me tonight. This is kind of awkward. I think I would thank him. Thanks for coming with me. I stepped in for a hug, ruffled his hair playfully, gave him friendly nudges, pat him on the arm, and waved goodbye. Hug! You went forward and wrapped your arms around him, and he returned the gesture, squeezing tight.
Night.
Night, Michiko. With a last wispy smile, he leapt towards his front door. Figuring you shouldn't linger in the street for much longer, you crossed the remainder of the road and did the same. When you reached your house, you pulled out your keys and stuck them in the door, trying your best to be silent about it. Opening the door a crack, you turned back and looked at Cove from over your shoulder. Your eyebrows lifted in surprise to see he was doing the same. Ah, God. He's so cute. Holding his front door open, but waiting for you to go inside before he did. You shared an amused smile before you both stepped into your own houses, locking the door behind you. Aww! We love each other so much and we care for one another so much, but we're not dating. It was quite late, so everyone else was already asleep. As quiet as a mouse, you tiptoed up to your bedroom, changed out of your formal clothes into your pajamas. Now that you're finally home, you're exhausted. You brushed your teeth and got ready for bed in darkness, before crawling under the covers and letting out a heavy breath. I was quite worried. I thought my girl was not going to take off her makeup, and I was like, It was so strange to think about how that was it. The build up to the event had felt so much. Now it was completely behind you. Your mind was busy with rapid yet muddled thoughts as you faded closer and closer to sleep. As unconsciousness crept up on you, you felt more content. It was a big deal, but there would be more in the future. You could accept what it had been, and you could dream about what you'd get to experience next. And then you're taken away from dreams right back into reality by a sound. I fucking figured. I was like, there's no way this is just ending. Your eyebrows pinched together, fully unprepared to be a part of the waking world again. The day was over and had been an eventful one, but you heard another noise. It was a tapping. Your eyes flew open. The window. There was a tapping that came from your window. Cove Holden. You slowly forced yourself to get up. You went over to let the guy in. You rushed over to him. I think I would rush over. You tumbled out of bed, taking your blanket with you, and you left it on the floor and scampered over to the window. You saw through the glass that Co's eyebrows were raised, and you suddenly realized that in your rush you hadn't taken care to be quiet. He had probably heard you crash to the floor. But that wasn't the matter at hand. You flung open the window and faced him completely, with nothing separating the two of you any longer. You had not been surprised to find Cove awkwardly crouched on your window ledge. However, you were taken aback to see that he was a little overdressed. Cove hadn't changed out of his formal clothes. Aww. Did he walk up to his room and he's like, no, I have this here. Oh, it's so cute. You also noticed that he was perched clumsily. You didn't know if it was because he was trying to keep his fancy clothes clean or if he felt weird about something. His body was too stiff and awkward. Cove smiled sheepishly. Hi, Michiko. Cove, why are you here? How come you dress like that? It's nice to see you, Romeo. Have you looked at the clock? It's too late for this. No, it's nice to see you, Romeo. Because I said that before. You moved aside and let him climb inside. He cautiously stepped down by stretching his legs over. Strangely, he didn't use his hands for support. It was clear to you now. He was holding something. Oh, wait, what? When he was safely on his feet, he briefly checked out his clothes, twisting around to see the back of his pants. He caught you looking and shrugged.
I
did go home after the event, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to settle down, so I just walked back out. I needed fresh air and time away from everything. Are you alright? What's wrong? He paused for a moment and raised his clasped together hands where you could see them. But then something happened, and well, so I have something I want to show you. He grinned like a child and gently unfurled his fingers, not being able to keep you in suspense for even a minute. He caught a firefly! Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. He couldn't catch one before. Carefully said, sitting inside was a tiny yellow light. It blinked off and then on again. A firefly. Delicately, he moved his hand closer so you could see the creature better. They're back. He's so romantic. What the fuck? He closed his eyes, a smile now faintly illuminated by the by his insect companion. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see them this year. I don't know why. It's just they were kind of late, and I guess I've been worrying about a lot of stuff lately. You could tell that the firefly genuinely lifted his spirits. He seemed at peace, and he wanted to share that with you. The fact that his first thought after discovering the fireflies was to come over and celebrate the joy with you made you suddenly feel very cherished. Dude, do you know you're really romantic? The writers for you are really romantic. Oh, fuck. Cove opened his eyes, but he looked away, not meeting yours.
It's nice.
It's really nice, I think. Even if the fireflies disappear for a while, it doesn't mean they're not really gone. They'll come back. I can see them again. You smile. Technically, fireflies aren't even gone. They're just eggs and larvae. You waited for him to continue? I think I'll smile. And then you looked at the firefly keenly. There was definitely something poetic about them. You felt a warmth in your heart. Cove looked at your face, his smile now fragile. Oh, just fucking look at him. Just look at him. Look at Cove. My fucking god. It makes me think about the two of us. We're together, then we say goodbye, and then we're together again. Day after day, year after year, and... even if our time apart gets longer, that doesn't make it forever. Dude, I'm about to cry. Please, no.
Let you go.
I'll always be there whenever you want to see me. You wanted to be with him. There's nothing else you wanted then, and he needed to know. Oh, is this where you could confess? Is this where I can confess? I want him to confess, though. Let's just quietly say his name. Cove. I'll always be there for you. You're being sappy, thinking you're the best. You're crazy, but you wouldn't say a word. I'll always be there for you too. You teared up. Your eyes suddenly watered and you try to contain your wave of emotion. Cove chuckled, suddenly shy, then he put an arm around your neck and relaxed into the half hug. The firefly suddenly flew off, blinking once and then twice as it looked for another perch. It went dark and then you saw it reappear outside your still open window. Cove didn't seem to mind. Cove looked at you, affection plain in his face. Hey, do you wanna go hang out to the hill? The fireflies are still there. Let's go. You nodded yes, you shook your head no, maybe another night. No, what the fuck? Let's go. Cove brightened. He was practically bouncing at the thought of a secret excursion before he suddenly became bashful.
So...
how should we leave? We could just try the door. We don't have to do the window thing, but maybe that'd bother your family? You both chuckled how awkward it would be if your moms or worse Liz saw you going on a midnight firefly catching trip. You'd be sure to avoid that. But you wanted to use the front door. You could just leave from your window. Let's go through the window. Cove nodded in understanding. You grabbed some shoes and readied yourself for an adventure. You're glad that there was no way you'd run into another soul outside. Cove would be way overdressed and you're still in your jammies. I really hope that was like... I'm assuming that option would have been you confessing, like you're getting a chance to confess, most likely. But I don't want to do that because I want Cove to confess to me, alright? We gotta let him do something for once. You let Cove go first. He stepped back on the ledge as you carefully followed. He shuffled along, and soon you reached a garage. You planned to use the fence from there to reach the ground. Cove jumped to the garage, then the fence, and lowered himself down. It was easy for him. He leaned against the fence and projected hushed words up to where you were waiting.
Are you okay?
Do you want help? You nodded yes. You got to the edge and let Cove spot your descent. He grabbed you about halfway down and brought you to the rest firmly on the ground. Oh, so pretty. Cove gave you an encouraging smile, but neither of you risked speaking yet. You briskly snuck behind the house and up to the old white poppy hill. And Cove was right. The entire hill was lit up, insects twinkling here and there with their pale yellow light. Cove let out a contented sigh, finally able to relax in full. He strode further up the hill to better enjoy the view. You walked along as well, letting yourself be surrounded by the twinkling display. Then, without warning, Cove plopped onto his back. He paid no mind to smacking his formal attire into the grass. He put an arm under his head and stretched the rest of his limbs out. He was clearly getting quite comfortable in the dirt there. You kept standing, you sat down, you laid in the grass. Oh, my throat. You lay down in the grass. You sat down first and then fell back. You could see the stars when you looked up at the night sky. I wonder if Dad will be mad about the grass stains. He tucked the collar of his shirt. He didn't sound concerned, just idly curious. At least they're dark. If you're lucky, you won't be able to tell. You smelled a bit a little, and it was silent. It went silent between you. The only sounds were the rustling of bugs in the breeze and the faraway crashes of waves on the sea. You continue watching fireflies. You want to catch some fireflies. You asked Cove if he wanted to catch fireflies. You challenged him to a rolling race down the hill. You asked Cove to dance with you. Oh, dancing around the fireflies would be so cute. Would he accept? Cove, Holden, may I have this dance? Cove stared at you in shock at the invitation. Understandably, he had not expected that. You felt obligated to try to say more. I think I want to dance with you again before it's over. It makes sense. Look at how you're dressed. No, let's make it super, super sad. I think I want to dance with you again before it's over. He's like, what? Why? Why are you talking like this? His mouth fell open a little. You could tell he recognized your words. He had used the same one on you many years ago. His eyebrows crinkled and he smiled, speechless. You got up and brushed off your clothes as best as you could. A pesky blade of grass tried to stay stuck to your leg. Cove did likewise, wiping his hand and pants on his pants and tickling them off. You faced each other, or faced across at each other, and suddenly the prospect of what you were both doing became more real. Cove hesitated a moment as you both tried to decide what move to make now. He nervously wrapped an arm around your back and carefully took your other hand into his own. He pulled in a deep breath, and you couldn't help but notice just how close the two of you were. Then you began to sway together amid the floating lights. Despite the lack of music, you found a rhythm to your movements. Back and forth, step to the side and slide. It was relaxed and freeing. Your eyes never strayed from one another. For a time, you just existed in the moment, holding each other close and enjoying being together. The hour grew late, and the fireflies mostly dispersed until only a few stragglers remained. Then even they blinked out of sight, leaving you alone with Cove and your thoughts. It felt as though this was a night that would never end, but you knew it would have to all too soon. You were only grateful to have been a part of it. These were moments to treasure, and you already knew you'd be remembering them for a very long time. Aww, that was so cute. That was so cute. So you guys did tell me that Cove will eventually confess to us when our summer ends, which is okay, I guess. I just wish he confessed a little sooner, so then we would have like already had him as a boyfriend through all these DLCs, and well, not DLCs, but these little moments. Technically, he could have if I already stated that he was my boyfriend, so that's on me. So whatever. It's fine. We'll handle this slow burn together. But the next episode will be our never mind. Our next episode won't be our final episode because we could hit the end. The summer ended, I believe. The next episode will be the end of the moments that we currently have. So thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.